So, welcome to another episode with another coach, one of the other coaches we have got from South Africa, Mr. Ashraf Calvert, popularly known as Ash Calvert, an A licensed coach with a BSc Sports and Exercise Science degree based in South Africa. He has coached Vasco da Gama Ladies, he has coached Clarewood JPM FC, Ambassador FC, Winburg St. John's FC, Rigersdale FC, Nova Nacional FC. And yes, it's quite an incredible journey he's had. So, welcome on the podcast, Ash. Can you tell us more about your journey and your fantastic achievements?
Hi, Ryan. Thank you firstly for having me on your podcast. It's really an honor. Look, I knew since a young age that coaching would be my passion, and I've always been a person to help, uh, be it on the soccer field, just in general. That's just the nature that I find myself in. Been coaching for about 14, 15 years. I've always been coaching juniors, ladies, men's. So I always try and wear multiple hats so that it can help me as a coach. Obviously, when you're coaching the different age groups and genders, teach you man management skills and how to put on different hats to the different ages. Yeah. And it's not an easy task, but I think over the years of experience, it helped me be the coach I am today. Yeah.
100%. And it's interesting that, you work with the men and women's teams. So when you work with women's teams, do your session delivery style, level of demands, management style, and communication techniques changed when you change as opposed to, let's say, when you're coaching a men's team?
No, definitely. I think the ladies game is something that you need to understand. If you don't understand how to approach the ladies, you will get it wrong. You can't approach the same style the way you approach men. The ladies game and the men's game are totally different. A lot of emotions involved on the ladies side, and the professionalism is totally different. I mean, the ladies game is up and coming. The men's are there already. So when it comes to financial strengths and all those things in the ladies game, it's not the same. If you would weigh here in South Africa, like a senior, the top ladies team would be on the same level like a under 16 team. If you had to play against them, under 16 team, academy team would come out tops. Your strongest Hollywood bets level, which is here in South Africa, I don't think they would win they wouldn't win the under 16 team, academy team. So the levels are different. So you automatically need to know when you come in and coaching, you have to treat them at that level so that you can obviously get the best out of your players, but also the maturity. If you're working with senior ladies, you have to understand that they're still seniors and you have to give them that level of respect, um, and treat them like seniors. But knowing when you're coaching under 16 level, if you get what I'm saying.
Yep, absolutely. That's quite an interesting point you've got here. And now you've also worked at youth level. So how do you ensure that your training sessions and approaches to matches is more development focused rather than results focused?
So it's very easy. I think you have to take the pride at off and focus solely on development. Take the results away, which is, I think, a big problem in South Africa. A lot of coaches, they're not well educated, so they're all about pride and winning and think that winning is the right way. Where the coaches that understand development is about giving everybody equal chance. You get late bloomers, early bloomers, and you have to cater for everybody. You have to first obviously get the context of your club. If you on an academy setup where you have the best players there, then it's easy to rotate. But when you're in a community club and you don't have the same skill level, that's when the challenge comes. And you still have to give the players equal chance. If you have players as first time players, you might be leading 2-0 and you have to bring on the players that are new to the game and end up losing 6-2. But you in your heart know that everybody played, everybody enjoyed the game. And that's the essence of development. Once you learn, understand that, then I think we could go very far as a coach. So yeah, development is all about equal game time and obviously emulating what you do on training into match. If they don't play the match, then how are you gonna know if they improved or never improved? And also you must remember child safety and negligence and abuse. The mental side of the game as a child, you can either break a child young or you can give them the confidence to go no matter what the skill level is.
Right. It's this equal game time is one of the key aspects. I agree with you when it comes to youth development. Now, parents are, of course, a huge stakeholder when it comes to youth football. So, how do you put in place a system for smooth communication with the parents of players?
Sorry. Okay, so what I do is I have parents code of conduct for most clubs that I'm working with. There's a parents code of conduct, players code of conduct, and then obviously coaches code of conduct. And once you share that with the parents and the club and it's transparent, they will understand already what we expect from parents in the different age groups. If you're not gonna let the parents know what their role is at the club, then you're gonna have that parents coaching from the side, shouting bad remarks at the ref, putting pressure on their kids to do things that shouldn't be the case. Um, at my soccer school, we have a strict code. If parents are coaching, we take your child off, a rolling sub, have a break, or let them tell the parents, please don't talk. So small steps like that could help because at the end of the day, the parents don't know the impact that they have on the children and the
Yeah.
pressure where they're supposed to be playing freely. They also make the coach's job harder because you'll have parents shouting and then players are taking note of the parents instead of the coach. So if you have the parents code of conduct at your club and parents follow it, then you shouldn't have the problem of having parents nagging on the side, and they will be there cheering and supporting and sitting quietly and watching the game.
And would you say that having a perhaps a pre-season meeting with the parents to tell them about the code of conduct is a good idea? Is that the best time to maybe, tell them that?
So you generally have AGMs, and at the AGMs you address what your club is all about, what you stand for, and all the conducts that you have for your club. So at AGMs for new members that come, you let them know. So the club that I'm at currently now at Regisdal, head of football there. We have a parent code and we have a website, so we just send the links. Parents can see exactly where our rules and regulations is for parents. And if parents are stepping out the line, we have a meeting with them. Simple as that, and we let them know. But as soon as they join the club, you let them know. At the beginning of the year, AGM, if parents are not there, we send out the comms, and we have weekly to termly letterheads where we send out various information to the parents so that we keep that interaction between parent and club going. Yeah.
Right, it's so fundamental, so important, this aspect. Now, there was another thing that's really interesting about your coaching life. So, if I pronounced it correctly, at Winberg St. John's FC, you created enjoyable training sessions with limited equipment, and that too for a high quantity of players. So, how did you manage that?
Yeah, that's not the easiest case, and I think most clubs suffer from this, where they have a lot of players and a little balls, and you as a coach have to make it interactive for everybody where nobody's standing and watching and doing it with less equipment. So at a young age, you want to get players touches on the ball as much as possible. So now you have to think of strategies of how you're going to do it with a big quantity and how you're not going to keep them just standing and watching the game. And it's not the easiest thing, but it is possible. So if you do small-sided games where they're all interacting and try and get much touches instead of doing bigger side games, or or yeah, and that I think that's the way. And then also keeping it fun. And if you see somebody's not touching the ball, you try and add rules that will make them pass the ball or allow the players some touches on the ball until you get a time where you have enough balls and have enough equipment to do what you need to do. So I think it comes down to the coach's creativity and thinking on the spot. I know the great coaches are the ones that can think quickly, and that's what gets them in the right direction. Is how quickly you can think on the spot to make a session work with whatever obstacles you have, especially in community clubs.
But did that, in any way, did you think that maybe your players in such an environment did not develop technically and tactically as much as you wanted them to?
The youth players,
Yeah,
while you'll always have uh, a con or like a bad party if you don't have the necessary equipment.
yeah,
But you can always supplement it where you either add extra sessions if you're allowed by the club to simulate where you're lacking with the equipment.
yeah,
Also advising parents to go to soccer schools to get extra training. You know, the
yeah.
parents think that the club training is just enough and their child is going to be a pro, but it's not really the case. It's the children that put in the effort every day, have more than one training, do extra after training, even when you're a professional or a senior player. You need to put the extra work in. So if you expect a coach on a normal 2 days a week and you expect the boy to be a pro and there's 5 balls and 40 kids, it's not going to work. You need to put the extra in.
Yeah, extra training, that's key. Now, your see, coach meetings and workshops are an integral part of coach development, and you have actually conducted such coach meetings and workshops at Ambassador FC. So, what do your coach meetings look like? What do your workshops look like? What do they entail?
Okay, so now current Ambassador is now a defunct club. That was 2017, 2018. I was head of football over there. We used to have weekly meetings where we discuss what we're going to do week, so that all the coaches understand what we expect from them in the various age groups. Now that I'm at Regisdal, we do every second Monday, we do coaches education workshops. We touch on basic performance fundamentals, long-term play development, basically upskilling the coaches so they understand exactly what they need to be doing at a certain age group. Also, working on a playing style and identity for our club, which will be a process. It's not something that happens overnight. So, the main purpose of workshops is obviously to share your knowledge and to make sure that everybody's aligned. If you get that right, you will have less angry parents, you'll have better quality players, technically, tactically. You will have a long term player development where you have players coming from your under 12s and you end up seeing them in your first team because ideally that's what you want from your club. If your club is getting that right, then you know you're doing something right on the coaching side of things. So my job is just to share information that I've gotten over the years. I still need to learn a lot. I'm still a student of the game, but for me, sharing is obviously caring, and it's gonna help the next player develop better.
Golden words there. Now, how often do you conduct such workshops?
So currently every second Monday, so we do workshops and we allow 2 weeks just to see how they adapt and how they implement what we speak about. So example, if we're talking about the playing style, what formations we're going to work on for our club from under 12 to under 18, and then obviously there's two match weeks. We see the match reports and we see how we address it. Also our training, so we give it 2 weeks so that we allow time for it to happen. Everything takes time. You can't expect something to happen overnight. So 2 weeks we recap, we go again, we add something. Another 2 weeks we see if it's working and we take it from there. At the end of the season, you would have multiple of workshops, and I mean the progression would be evident.
It's definitely an effective initiative for sure. Now, also, another piece of advice that you can probably give. So, as coaches, theoretically, most of us like to enforce a professional standard and culture with our team. So, what are some effective ways to ensure that such professional standards are actually implemented?
So I think it comes down how you manage your team off the field and on the field. I think your culture determines how the players are around each other off the field, which will determine your dressing room. And as a coach, you know, if you don't control the dressing room, if they don't respect you, you won't build a culture. So I think it starts with how they come to training. Are they on time? The quality of training, all the learning, all those things build the culture. And what you do as a coach extra. So besides just on the field, are you having team building exercise to build team morale? Are you setting in boundaries and rules that can create a culture that is professional?
Yeah.
Um, when players don't come to training and they don't communicate, are you just saying okay, yes or no? Or you put in guidelines, say, hey, that's not all right. You can't do that. You're going to sit out for the next game. Or I'm just making example, but those small things creates the culture, and that's what helps the professionalism of your team at the end of the day. So you as a coach, you need to be very stern but
Yeah.
also professional, and you are the role model. So whatever you do wrong, the players are going to feed off it. And if you're going to be a coach that negatively criticizes players all the time, you're not going to get the best, and you're not going to create a culture, because then you're going to be a coach that's pointing fingers instead of saying, pointing at yourself and taking ownership. I, as the coach, I did this wrong, and then they will also be like, coach, I think I could have done better here. I need to analyze my game. I can do, but all those small things relate to culture, off the field things, and on the field and training. I think that's the best that I could think about and how I do things to create
Yeah.
culture. And culture we know is a very important part of playing, especially in the senior game.
It is for sure. You mentioned team building. So, can you give us maybe a few examples of team building activities that you conduct as a coach?
Okay, so team building, what I normally do is can be anything from playing players, Gatsby's after the game, you know, after the game, they're sitting, they're spending time together, or going 10-pin bowling. I did it with my ladies team. I had ambassadors, um, 10-pin bowling, laser tagging. So it's generally anything that's going to even if
Yeah.
you're training on the beach, there's team building as away from the football field. It's something different out of the normal. So yeah, anything that they can do as a team. I also the one club I had got a external guy that focused on team building, and we did some exercises that relied on trust. So
Yeah.
when you don't trust each other, that's when your team doesn't do well. So small games that rely on trust and that help. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and that's just a few of the things that I did in the past. And obviously, I stick to the ones that work. And I always try and see what works, what don't work, and then you have to be confident of your team, the conditions, financial state. A lot of the time, it's going to come at your own pocket. But you, as a coach, you do it for the goodness of your team.
Yeah.
If you want professional setup, obviously the club will sort it out, and you have to work by means of what your club can afford. So it's all depends on financials, what you can afford as a coach, and what
Yeah.
your club can obviously put through for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have also worked in futsal. So now it's very clear that there are many skills that can be transferred from futsal to football. So if you have a club who have access to, let's say, facilities, then how often do you suggest that a football club makes their players also play futsal?
Yeah. So for me, I think in development, especially if you're a young player, I think futsal would be the go-to. But unfortunately, in South Africa, we have a problem where facilities isn't as easy accessible. So we don't have many futsal clubs in South Africa. We have probably one senior league, national league, that runs. It's not professionally run yet. It stops starts. We don't have junior clubs. There's a few clubs around Cape Town, right? But if they could play futsal, I would say if they could do at least 2 to 3 times the futsal as a young age, even off season, if you can do it full time off season, that's in the summertime, I think it will really help because we both know the small side of games in futsal, it's attacking. You don't have breathing space. You're learning tactics while you play. And
Yeah.
the fact that you're always under pressure and the game is so fast, it's definitely going to help you. And we all know how the Brazilians do it. Even the Spanish, they high in futsal. So if we could get that going here properly in South Africa, I think it will help our football so much. But like I say, the facilities and the halls, we don't have halls basically to use here. I've been part of the guys trying to get futsal up and going again. I took a ladies national team to the World Cup in 2017. But it's basically girls that play outdoor football basically, and not generally coming through futsal rankings. So we don't have that going yet. So yeah, still something we need to work and get going.
Well, it's interesting to know that you've been involved with the national team in futsal. That's nice. Good to hear. So now, are there any, because you have given some amazing points, are there any tips that you would, through your experience, give to coaches who are passionate about player development?
Okay, so look for the main tip is remember that players are humans before they're footballers. If you can understand that, I think you would go far as a coach. And you as a coach, you need to keep educating yourself. No matter what age group you're doing, what gender you're doing. If you're going to keep educating and learning from fellow coaches, coaches that you maybe put on a high pedestal and soak up the information that could work for you, then you would go far. And also when you do take information, don't copy it immediately. You have to keep context of what your age group, what your skill is, and then tweak what you have learned to accommodate your team specifically. So again, just keep learning the game, and also when you're working with juniors, it's not about results. If you can take that out, it's all about learning, all about giving everybody equal time, and don't fall under the results, coach, because then you're gonna start breaking players. Players are gonna learn to lose love of the game, and you as a coach is there to attract players, to make them fall in love with the game, to teach them the game, to be a role model. And the moment you start letting winning take over, that's when you lost the plot as a development coach, I'd say.
Yep, that's a quite a nice summary of the entire podcast. Now, before I let you go, there's one question we ask every coach. So, what are your future plans now hereafter?
Okay, at the moment, I'm not sure. I just came off the bat of working at TS Galaxy Queens. So I'm back in Cape Town now. So I'll wait and see. what comes around. At the moment, I'm at my community club, Regisdal of Football, and I run my soccer school, Developing Future Maestros, where we coach at various primary schools, preschools around Cape Town. So I'll be involved with the juniors and the females until there's a club that says they need my services, and it's a lucrative one. Yeah, in football,
That's
you never know.
so you're still in touch with the game during your break. I really hope that your next job is, really fulfilling all your needs. So which is the best way for any of the audience to contact you?
Um, Look, I'm a very open guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. Um, if you manage to get my WhatsApp number, I'm always open. I'm always helping people I don't know even. Just to whatever questions they help. And I'm always about, like I said before we started, like I'm a guy that likes to help. I can help where I can help. So yeah, you can catch me on LinkedIn, Facebook. It doesn't matter. I don't want my WhatsApp to blow up now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Your
my
contact details
surname.
will
That's
be Yeah, your contact details
my
will be
contact.
mentioned in the description. Yes, so thank you for your
Yeah, it's
time.
fine.
It was a brilliant little chat, definitely enlightening, and I'm sure it's going to be of great use to a lot of coaches who are listening.
No, thank you, Ryan, and thank you for what you're doing, like creating awareness for other coaches worldwide. We appreciate it.
Thank you.